Hey there, happy Monday, here for a reading. I got some notes, so get your questions ready. But before we get started, just wanted to share that I am officially open for Soul Teacher students. It's so excited. I love to see who comes in. I just set the intention out, and I know that all of you who are meant to be there will come in. Soul Teacher is my certification program where I teach and help you remember your intuitive gifts. So we go all the way from reading energy to reading Akashic records, doing healings. It's great truly for anybody who wants to live this way from an intuitive place. But it's also certification, so it's great for somebody who's maybe a coach or wants to do this work full time. Or if you want to do readings, you'll definitely graduate being able to do a full complete reading, similar to the just like the soul readings that I do, that are very popular. So, but it's not only for that, it's also just for the person that really wants to live this way. I find that a lot of the things that I teach in Soul Teacher have helped me get everything that I love and have in my life, helps me heal my family and my children, and helps me better understand them at a soul level, understand myself at a soul level, because really it's this whole process of really understanding yourself and knowing yourself at a soul level. So if you feel like that is for you, I would love to have you. We have a very large wait list, so if you're interested, sooner than later would be best. I have a Q&A tomorrow. You can just DM me and I can give you the info if you want to join and ask questions, or you can always just send me questions here. Would love to have you. Okay? Cool. All right, so let's get ready. Ask yourself a question, and you're going to decide if your question right now is going to be answered by one or two, not after I read the questions, which I feel like some of you have been getting that a little off. So are you going to go with one or two? Is your answer going to be in one or two? So decide that. Okay? And then listen to them. So number one. So the first message I was getting was that something is calling you, and it felt very much like I've definitely lived my life like this during many times, where it feels like the universe is trying to speak to you, or your guides, or maybe even your ancestors are trying to speak to you, but they're trying to bring you in. So it felt like the answer you were trying to get was not going to be instant, that it was just going to pop into your head. It felt almost like the message that was coming through for you was a deeper story, and almost it felt like it'll be a message that is probably different than you were expecting to get. So that's why it's not going to come so instant, but that you have to follow almost like the scavenger hunt of signs. So it looks like you're getting signs, and it doesn't mean that oh, I see a butterfly, that's the answer. It just feels like, okay, I see a butterfly. What does that mean? That's something important for me. And then the next day somebody tells me about this book, and I get that book, and it just felt like you're being brought down a path, and there's a lot of trust on this path. So I was really, when I was meditating on this, I was like, I want to give them steps of how to do that, because that's how I've lived my whole life basically. And it's really this process of realizing that everything around you is communicating with you. So often we feel alone, and that these things that we want are only in our head, and then the outside world is a totally different world. But it's really that, imagine it, not that everything necessarily has meaning, but that what if everything around you was supporting you, and almost like a movie that the flowers pop up and they talk to you, and the butterflies and this sign, and this person says something to you, and you're oh my gosh, that's for me. So it felt like that, you almost have to turn that on and realize that everything around you is trying to support you and trying to help you in this, and it's trying to speak to you. Lately, when I've been doing this, my throat's been getting a little weird. So, but then a butterfly shows up. Maybe it'll come on camera. So it just felt pay attention to the signs. Let the signs take you down the road. Don't feel like you need to know all of it, and just, if anything, set the intention that you're ready to hear what the universe has to say to you, that you're ready to hear what your surroundings have to say to you. Also, it felt like getting to, if you're in a place of nature, or there's nature around you, which there's always nature around us, we just have to look for it. But it felt like tapping in to hearing nature, and like almost like nature was going to speak to you a lot. It's summertime, at least here in the US, so there's so much like out and growing, and it felt like that was going to be very helpful to be able to communicate with you. So maybe it's like you just need to go out for a little bit, but if like those like the like life on earth had messages for you, and you just had to like go out and be with them. So keep following the steps, keep listening and understanding that you're not alone. And it feels like once you start to be like, oh, I am getting messages, it looks like bigger messages come, but you first have to like acknowledge those smaller ones. There's definitely a pooling, like it felt like I'm walking towards something, so step by step. I put here like you're gonna get answers from deep meditation. So this is what you're asking about feels so like heart-based and very destiny-based. It actually feels very important to your purpose and to like your destiny. It was like, it almost felt like it may seem like a little thing, but it's actually like very important to your path. So there's something about your path really trying to get your attention and bring you down the right path. And it's not really a yes-no answer. So there has to be like some like reverence to this question. So deeper meditation, longer periods of time of like letting yourself receive it. Yeah, I put learning to listen to nature, which we talked about. Okay. And to definitely, if this means anything to you, to like follow your calling. Because it was like there's a calling and it's calling you. Follow it. Answer it is kind of what I was getting. Okay. Number 2. All right. So number 2 was that whatever you're asking about, it's just at the beginning of blossoming. And it felt like there was like a lack of inexperience that's making you get impatient. So the best example I can give you is that this is our first like full summer living here in North Carolina. We visited a bunch in the summer, but I've never gone through the summer season here. We moved last August. So I've been hiking, and of course, like something new grows all the time, and I've been finding these wild blackberries. And after a while, I realized that they were blackberries and not raspberries, because at first they looked like really red and beautiful, and I'm like, oh my gosh, wild raspberries. But that's only like my inexperience. Like I thought the raspberry was done. It was fully bloomed. It was like fully available and ready. But then after like a day or two, they turned black. And I was like, oh, they're blackberries. Like, so actually my inexperience, if I would have like harvested all the raspberries, I would have been like, oh, this tastes a little weird. And it was my inexperience of summertime and wild blackberries and the process of them that made me think that they were raspberries and not blackberries. So there's something about what you're asking about that like may look like it's kind of time, or that it's ready, or that you're like feeling like it's the time, or it should be right now, or like why hasn't it happened? But it felt like because you've never done this before, or because you've never seen this before, that you're just a little off on the timing, similar to the blackberry story. That if you just if you're just like a little bit more patient, if you give it a little bit more time, then you're really going to get like that yummy blackberry rather than like the sour, quote unquote, raspberry that I thought I was getting. So, so like you don't know what you don't know. It's kind of one of the things. You can definitely hire somebody who is, or talk to somebody who's experienced. That would help too. So like, for instance, maybe you're stressed out about something with your child, but it's your first child, or it's the first time that you have a child in the teenage years. You've never had a teenager before. It could be helpful now to like seek out somebody who's had 3 teenagers, like that. It would be best to seek experience to help you understand this place of like, this thing has not bloomed yet. Like it's not, it's kind of like looking at a teenager and be like, oh my gosh, like I have ruined, I'm like the worst parent or whatever. But like the truth is, a teenager is kind of like that blackberry in pink. It's not really a blackberry yet. It's not fully bloomed. So there's something about like a concern also about this thing presently, but the concern is only coming because you've never like experienced the full cycle of it yet. So hopefully this message helps you, but if not, also talking to somebody who has had that full experience will be very helpful. Like somebody who can guide you through these seasons, because it makes me feel like too what you're dealing with is actually like, a lot of us think we're like unique little snowflakes and that this is like only happening to us, but it seems like whatever you're dealing with is actually something that is like cyclical, or it's a season, or it's like a challenge that most people in this situation have. So I remember I was having this problem with my business and like the people that report to me, and I was like, oh, like I felt like I was anxious and micromanaging. And I talked to my cousin who like oversees a lot of large companies, and I told him this problem I was having, and he's like, Nikki, like that's a thing. Like it's not like this unique problem that you're having. Like this, every leader like has this problem, and he taught me this like technique to deal with it and to like really change things. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I thought, because I did not have that experience, it was the first time that I was in this position, you know, overseeing these people. I thought that it was like a unique problem to me or to my company, when really there's like books written on this problem that I have. So also what you're maybe scared about or concerned about, like there is like a solution that is like a proven solution, is what I'm getting for this one also. And then, you know, the flip of that too is like to let yourself get experience with it. So being a leader, let's say, it's like, all right, I just got to get the experience. I got to trip a little bit. Being a mom, like, all right, just fuck it. Got to see like what happens with my teenager. I'll do the best that I can, and I'll probably be really good at the second teenager. So there's a little bit of like a need to gather that experience with this one also. So if you're dating, it's like, all right, you're going to have to go on a few dates. You're going to have to mess it up, and you're going to have to whatever in order to gather the experience. So, all right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Those were my messages. I hope to see you in the Q&A tomorrow if you're being called to Soul Teacher. It's such a beautiful call, and it's the most transformational service or product or whatever you want to call it in my world. So I'd love to have you, and I'd love to help activate that within you and help you become your true self. So, all right, love you much, and I'll see you the rest of the week.